Before we begin today's story, take a moment to subscribe if you enjoy emotionally driven stories that stay with you long after the video ends. These stories aren't loud or rushed, they settle quietly into your heart. And if you stay until the end, you might find yourself thinking about this one longer than you expect. The cold that night was unforgiving, the kind that slips beneath your skin and settles into the walls of a house. Every room felt hushed, as if the world itself had paused. In the kitchen, I slowly stirred a pot of soup, watching steam rise and blur the window above the sink. My name is Clara. I'm 44 years old, and for most of my life I've been a single mother. It's not the life I planned, but it's the life I learned to carry with strength. My son Ethan is 22 now. Through every hardship, it's been the two of us, holding each other steady whenever life leaned too hard. A bond built through struggle becomes something unbreakable. Still, that night felt different. Too quiet. Too heavy. Ethan came home later than usual. His steps were slow. His shoulders slumped. Exhaustion showed in every movement. His hair fell across tired eyes that struggled to stay focused. It wasn't just one long day. It was months of pushing himself too far. Late shifts at the bookstore. Night classes afterward. Literature was his dream, and he chased it relentlessly. But dreams can be expensive when you pay for them with sleep and strength. "Mom," he said softly, voice rough, "I don't feel right." My chest tightened. I put the ladle down and walked closer. "You're exhausted," I told him gently. "Go lie down. I'll bring you soup." Our old Victorian house never held heat well. The heater complained more than it worked, and cold air slipped through the window frames. I grabbed a thick quilt and followed him to his room. He sat on the bed and nearly collapsed into it. I wrapped the blanket around him the same way I used to when he was little. "Thanks, Mom," he murmured, already drifting. For a moment, it felt like time had folded back on itself, like nothing had changed. But worry stayed with me. He was pushing too hard, and I didn't know how to make him slow down. Then the doorbell rang, sudden and sharp, breaking the silence. I opened the door to find our neighbor Tom standing in the snow, a flashlight in one hand. "Evening, Clara," he said. "Saw your lights on. Thought I'd check your heater with this weather." Relief washed over me. A normal problem felt easier to handle. "It's been acting up," I admitted. "I'll take a look." He moved straight to the unit, working while making small talk about Ethan's studies and my library job. I answered, but my attention stayed divided. Ethan appeared in the hallway, leaning against the wall, arms folded, expression guarded. The room filled with a strange tension, the kind made of things people don't say out loud. Tom finished and stood. "You should be okay for now. Call me if it struggles again." His smile faded slightly when he noticed Ethan, as if he sensed the quiet weight in the room. After he left, silence returned, heavier than before. "Mom," Ethan said quietly, "don't worry about me. I'll figure things out. I just need time." I placed my hand on his arm. "You don't have to figure everything out alone. We've always done this together." He nodded, then gently rested his head on my shoulder for just a moment, like he used to years ago. My heart ached with love and fear at the same time. Whatever came next, one thing was certain. We would face it side by side. The house settled into a deep, midnight quiet. Pipes ticked softly in the walls. Wind pressed against the windows like a slow breath. I tried to read on the couch, but the words refused to stay still on the page. A mother learns the difference between normal silence and the kind that feels wrong. Around midnight, I checked on Ethan again. His door was half open. The room was dim except for the desk lamp glowing in the corner. He wasn't asleep, just lying there, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. "You didn't sleep," I whispered. "Can't," he said. "My chest feels tight. Not pain exactly, just heavy." I sat on the edge of the bed. "We can go to the clinic in the morning." He hesitated. "I can't miss class. I already fell behind last week." "Your health isn't falling behind," I said gently. "It comes first." He gave a tired half-smile but didn't argue, which worried me more than if he had. I brought the soup anyway. He managed a few slow spoonfuls. Even that seemed to drain him. When I took the bowl back, it was still half full. Sleep came lightly and broke often. Every small sound pulled me awake. At 3:17 a.m., I heard movement, a dull thud from the hallway. I was on my feet instantly. Ethan? No answer. I stepped into the hall and found him sitting on the floor against the wall, breathing shallowly, one hand pressed to his chest. Not in panic, but like he was trying to steady something inside himself. My pulse spiked. We're not waiting for morning. Mom, it's okay. It's not, I said, already reaching for my coat. The roads were nearly empty, silvered with frost. The car heater groaned to life as we drove. He leaned his head back, eyes closed, focusing on slow breaths while I kept one hand tight on the wheel, and the other hovering near him at every red light. Hospitals at night feel different. Quieter, more honest. No data imbrus. Just soft footsteps and tired eyes behind the front desk. They took him in faster than I expected. That alone made my stomach knot. Tests. Monitors. Questions. I answered what I could. Work hours. Sleep habits. Stress levels. Diet. Each answer sounded worse when spoken out loud. A young doctor finally came out, calm but direct. He's severely exhausted, she said. Not just tired, systemically run down. Dehydration, stress overload, and prolonged sleep deprivation. His body basically hit its limit. I exhaled a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. Is it dangerous? I asked. It becomes dangerous if ignored, she replied. But you brought him in at the right time. Relief and guilt arrived together. Relief that he was safe, guilt that I hadn't stopped this sooner. When they let me sit beside him, he looked smaller somehow. Not like a child, but like someone who had been carrying too much weight alone. I'm sorry, he murmured. For what? For worrying you. I brushed his hair back gently. That's the one job you're allowed to give me. For the first time that night he slept, real sleep, deep and unguarded, machines humming softly beside him. Watching him there, I understood something with painful clarity. Strength isn't just pushing forward. Sometimes strength is stopping before you break. Morning arrived softly through the hospital blinds. Pale light stretching across the floor. Gentle and undeservedly calm after the long night. I hadn't slept. I just sat there, listening to the steady rhythm of Ethan's breathing, letting that sound anchor me. When he finally woke, his eyes were clearer than they'd been in weeks. Did I scare you? He asked quietly. Yes, I answered honestly, and then smiled. But you also reminded me how strong you are, even when you forget it. The doctor returned with instructions that sounded simple but heavy. Real rest, reduced workload, fewer shifts, proper meals, structured sleep. Sensible things, the kind people ignore until their body forces them to listen. Ethan stared at the paper like it was written in another language. I can't afford to cut hours, he said. Tuition doesn't pause. We'll adjust, I told him. Together. That word again, together. It had carried us this far. It would carry us farther. By afternoon, Tom, our neighbor, showed up with a small toolbox in one hand and a paper bag in the other. Fix the heater properly, he said. And I brought real food. Hospital snacks don't count. Ethan actually laughed, a weak one but real. It felt like hearing music after a long silence. The ride home was quieter than the one before, not with fear this time, but with understanding. Winter sunlight reflected off the snow, bright enough to make you squint. The world kept moving, unchanged, but inside the car, something had shifted. Pressure had been replaced with permission. Permission to slow down. Permission to recover. Permission to be human. That evening, I reheated the soup from the night before. This time, Ethan finished the bowl. And somehow, that felt like a victory.